Good evening. Mayor O'Neill in her absence, Mayor Pro Tem Middleton and City Council members, staff, and residents of Durham. I am honored to present to you my proposed budget for 2022-2023 for the City of Durham. As your city manager, I am honored this evening to present to you my proposed budget for fiscal year 2022-2023. As you know, when I became city manager with more than 30 years of experience in local government, I was not a novice. And this evening, I am proud to say, serving as your city manager for more than a year has deepened my appreciation and my love for local government and for Durham. Over the past 2 years, faced with so many challenges, we as a city have risen to these challenges. Our community and employees have responded to every high and low. During the darkest days of the global pandemic, our business community pivoted to keep their businesses alive, especially restaurants, as they struggled to keep their businesses afloat and their employees working, while continuing to feed their customers and food insecure residents in our community. When restaurants were closed or had limited hours, we learned to order our dinners online, pick up and go, and even eat curbside when waiting for COVID to reduce its grip. And thanks to our good hygiene practices, wearing masks, our vaccines and boosters, we can now once again be seated in restaurants as we fellowship in person with our family, our friends, and our business associates. There have been other challenges in addition to the pandemic, but through it all, we dealt with them, we responded to them appropriately, and learned from them, most importantly, all while doing what we needed to do to provide services our residents expect. As with past budgets, I appreciate the guidance and support of our city's elected leaders, Mayor Elaine O'Neill, Mayor Pro Tem Mark Anthony Middleton, and Durham City Council members. I also want to welcome our newest City Council member, Dr. Monique Holsley-Hyman, to her first city budget presentation. During this budget cycle, City Council and staff spent time working together, discussing and setting priorities at 2 separate retreats. We also heard from many residents who have made very clear their needs and their priorities for this budget. As I begin this evening with a reflection on this past year, I have to celebrate and say thank you to our more than 2,500 city employees. Each and every one of them has been the driving force in keeping high-quality services for our city's residents. You've probably heard it said, show me your budget and I'll show you what you value. Well, this year, I want to make it very clear that I value our employees, not just for their input and work in helping to shape this budget proposal, but for what they do every day in service to the residents of Durham. Here are just a few of the faces who provide city services. Just take a look at them. Many of whom worked on the front lines during COVID-19, sworn police and fire personnel, providing essential public safety services, street maintenance employees, keeping our streets repaired, water management employees, ensuring high-quality drinking water, and Durham Parks and Recreation employees who always remind us to play more. Many have been working behind desks, tethered to a phone or a computer, or even sitting behind steering wheels for most of their workday or work night. As they perform their jobs, I could go on and on, but you get the picture. Throughout this presentation, you will see how city employees make a difference every day. At the same time, I will show how my proposed fiscal year 2022-23 budget supports many vital needs of our community, from addressing public safety, including police, fire, emergency communications, and community safety, to improving and maintaining our city property like streets, recreation centers, green spaces, and infrastructure, to continue to provide good and safe drinking water. This budget also supports other important efforts, including helping to provide affordable housing and services for Durham residents who need it most, supporting Durham's youth through paid career exploration opportunities and positive recreation and social experiences and activities, as well as creating equitable opportunities for shared prosperity for Durham businesses and residents. Let's take a look at fiscal year 22-23 by the numbers. The total proposed budget for fiscal year 22-23 is $568.9 million, compared to $529.7 million for the 2021-22 budget, an increase of $39.2 million, and includes the city's general fund as well as other funds that are highlighted here that you will hear more about during this presentation. The proposed general fund budget, which covers core services, is $255.5 million and represents a $14.9 million increase compared to fiscal year 21-22 of $240.7 million. The general fund supports many of the services that the city provides, such as maintaining city streets, our public safety, including our police, fire, community safety, emergency communications, and parks and recreation. The proposed property tax rate is 55.77 cents per 100 of assessed value, which is 0.6 cent above the fiscal year 21-22 rate of 55.17 cents. The tax rate increase of 0.6 cent is a $2.4 million increase to the general fund to help support pay increases for general employees, pay raises, and other funds remain the same as last year. This tax increase means that the owner of a house valued at $235,133, which is the median home taxable value in Durham, will receive a city tax bill of about $1,311 next year, or the equivalent of about $109 per month. Let's talk about the city's primary sources of revenue, which are property and sales taxes. As you can see here, a penny on the tax rate generates about $4 million. And you can see that real property value has grown in Durham. While unstable economic conditions persist, Durham has continued to experience revenue growth throughout this global pandemic and instability in the economy overall. Driven by this growth, Durham's economy over the past year has been strong, resulting in a better than projected rise in revenue. Sales tax is projected to increase more than 13% for 22-23 compared to the previous year's budget. We have budgeted $83.5 million, which is projected to generate an additional $10.2 million as compared to last year's budget, reflecting a strong and sustained economic recovery. Other sources of revenue are projected to increase as well, such as occupancy tax and state shared revenues. While we remain cautiously optimistic about the city's economy and its impact on city finances, we do recognize that the positive financial indicators in our economy do not mean every resident in Durham is benefiting from these positive indicators. We see and hear from residents who continue to need housing they can afford, and jobs earning family-sustaining wages. And we will continue to hear these voices and see these faces as we lead in the creation of a more equitable city for all who call Durham home. To cover increasing operational costs, improve aging water lines, and support other capital needs, we're proposing a modest increase to water and stormwater rates. These rate changes were discussed at City Council's last work session and are on tonight's agenda for consideration. These new rates include an average rate increase of 3.9% for water and a 93-cent increase per month for stormwater effective July 1st. Also, you will see here that increases which were delayed during the throes of the pandemic are now updated and proposed for implementation to support the city's parking fund. The parking fund continues to operate at a loss, and these rate increases are proposed to help cover debt service on parking structures and equipment. Proposed general fund expenditures include increases for personnel costs, including new positions, restoration of merit pay increases, and the cost of providing excellent and competitive employee benefits. Operating expenditures are projected to increase by a little over 6%, which amounts to about $2.6 million. Due to consistent, effective management of the city's resources and the City Council's policy on the use of fund balance or savings, the city has access to a strong fund balance. I am proposing a $7.5 million appropriation from fund balance for the following one-time costs that are listed here. In addition to allocating $4 million for street maintenance and $2.1 million for departmental projects, I'd like to note that I am proposing transferring $900,000 to complete the city's $1 million commitment to fund the Safety and Wellness Task Force, and finally, $500,000 to acquire land to expand existing open space and trails. This is a good time to let you know that the City of Durham, your government, is only one of 35 cities in the country that have received a AAA rating from all three rating agencies: Moody's, Standard & Poor's, and Fitch. What this means is that the city can borrow money or issue bonds for major projects at lower interest rates, saving taxpayers dollars. Our complete budget document covers every detail of our revenue and spending for the upcoming fiscal year. This includes our core municipal services, such as solid waste, roads, water, parks, and public safety, as well as other projects and initiatives that further our strategic goals. We have used a strategic plan developed with input from our employees, our residents, our elected officials, and other key stakeholders to guide our budget priorities. In tonight's presentation, I will focus on several key priority areas for our organization and community. Here are the city's top priorities that are featured in this year's budget. They are employee compensation, public safety, shared prosperity, and our capital improvement plan. Because we can't cover every aspect of the budget tonight, I encourage you to review the complete proposed budget that is now available on our website at durhamnc.gov/budget. Our employees are essential if we are to implement the vision set forth in this budget, and we want to show these dedicated employees that we value their work and contributions to our organization and the community. These employees have worked tirelessly throughout the pandemic, doing the critical work that keeps our city running, from emergency response to water and sewer management to solid waste collection and more. Let's talk about employee compensation. Durham has not been immune to what has been called the Great Resignation. Like many cities across the country, we've seen our vacancy rate increase considerably as employees decide to retire, pursue other interests, or remove themselves completely from the job market, either temporarily or permanently, for various reasons. To move forward as a city, taking care of city employees must be a high priority. Public as well as private sector employers are having to improve employee compensation to focus on the 3 R's: recruitment, retaining, and rewarding employees. Last year, due to unknowns resulting from the impact of COVID, city employees received minimal market adjustments and one-time bonuses. This year, to reward and fairly compensate city employees, I am proposing a market adjustment of 3% for employees. Additionally, I am proposing restoring the pay-for-performance merit system, which amounts to an additional 4 to 6% for general employees. If you'll recall, earlier this year, adjustments were made for the city's police and fire employees who are sworn. In January, sworn police received a 15% market pay increase, while sworn fire personnel received the 14.7% market pay increase. While their market increases have already taken place, the 22-23 budget accounts for a full year cost of these market adjustments and a return to pay for performance merit budgeted at 5%. All proposed pay increases are supported by the proposed tax increase amounting to $2.4 million. The Durham minimum livable wage will also be adjusted from its current $16.92 per hour to $17.60 per hour effective July 1st. To meet the growing needs of our organization and the community, this proposed budget also includes the addition of 60 new full-time employee positions in several areas. Some of the departments that must grow to continue to adequately support the needs of the community and support other programs include the ones listed on this slide. Of note, 3 new trainers and 2 firefighters in the fire department are included, 6 additional transportation employees, which will be covered later, 5 community development positions supported by the dedicated housing fund to support program activities and project delivery, including the homeless services team, to manage their growing workload as the city's lead agency for the Durham County Continuum of Care. 2 additional planning positions are proposed, 7 community safety employees to support their pilot programs that are scheduled to get underway this year, and 14 water management operational positions are included in this budget proposal. I want to recognize and thank all our essential public safety employees who work around the clock to keep us safe every day, including throughout this pandemic. The police department, fire department, and emergency communications 911 center. This is not a small task. It takes great strength and courage to step up day in and day out to protect and serve our community, and I commend all of you for rising to this challenge during these very difficult times. One of the highest priority areas we think about and we work on daily is how best to keep all of our residents of this city safe and well. It is no secret that there's great concern about violent crime in Durham, like many other cities in America. At the same time, there are concerns about the history of policing in our country and the impact on people of color. Durham has been a leader in finding new, equitable, and innovative ways to keep our community safe and well. We continue to lead in public safety reform. We work collaboratively across multiple public safety agencies daily to do this work and improve outcomes for all of our residents in Durham. The Community Safety Department continues to make progress to deploy alternative response teams to select calls for service in our community. 3 of the pilots, crisis call diversion, The community response teams and care navigation are set to launch in late June. Our crisis call diversion pilot will embed clinicians in the 911 center to assess the needs of callers who might have behavioral health concerns. The community response teams will respond to calls for behavioral health needs and other quality of life issues, while the care navigators will follow up with persons who've been assisted to connect them to community-based services they need. Currently, 9 of the department's 13 full-time positions are filled, and my budget proposes adding 7 new positions to support more robust pilots of these programs over the next year, along with funding for vehicles and equipment needed to transport those in crisis to appropriate care facilities or organizations as needed. Funding for 3 fire trainers and 2 firefighters are also included in this budget. And in the police department, I am including funding for a 1-year pilot of the ShotSpotter program to locate and address gunfire in the city. Also, the police department will be reclassifying 2 positions to create 2 new latent print examiner positions to enhance their investigative capabilities. Creating and promoting strategies and programs to ensure that all of the city's residents share in Durham's prosperity continues to be a top priority for the city. The city continues to make progress in our efforts to provide affordable housing. My proposed budget of $13.6 million is a 6.77% increase over the fiscal year 21-22 budget of $12.7 million. Funded with a tax appropriation of 3.38 cents of the property tax, 2 cents totaling approximately $8 million is included for affordable housing projects and services, and 1.38 cents generating $5.4 million will be used to pay debt service for the $95 million affordable housing bond. This year's budget also includes $500,000 for the Durham County Long-Time Homeowner Tax Grant Program. Forever Home Durham is our $160 million program creating affordable opportunities for renters and homeowners. Through new construction, property repairs, and essential housing services, we are building a more inclusive and livable community. Over the next several years, the $95 million affordable housing bond, combined with local and federal funding, will be used to invest a total of $160 million to reach affordable housing goals established for the program. On the slide, you can see our progress through the numbers. The last 2 years opened everyone's eyes to the necessity of having access to the internet. It is absolutely vital that equitable access is available. Let me give you some idea of how important it is at every level. First, globally, the United Nations passed a resolution that declared that access to the internet should be considered a human right. If you don't believe me, just Google it. At the national level, just last week, President Biden took a major historic step to provide internet access to millions by covering the cost of the service. Now some 20 leading internet providers will offer eligible households high-speed internet for no more than $30 per month. You can find out if you qualify by visiting acpbenefit.org. Also, Governor Roy Cooper joined U.S. Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo at Camden Institute right here in Durham last week to announce the Biden-Harris $45 billion investment in affordable, reliable, high-speed internet, with significant amounts going to states, including North Carolina. While this will make a huge dent in providing access to so many, I want you to know that providing internet service to all Durham residents is a priority for this city. Over the past 2 years, the City of Durham, in partnership with Duke University, have been hard at work to provide free, high-speed internet to 8 housing authority communities, Durham Housing Authority communities. I am proud to let you know this evening that this project is almost complete. Now residents of those communities, particularly Durham Public Schools students, will be able to attend school and work remotely when needed, and CARES Act funded much of this project. To continue to address needs right here in Durham, the city, along with many other local organizations, participated in a multi-year initiative aimed at ensuring all Durham residents have access to and understand how to use technology, mainly the internet. To help put that plan into action, I am proposing funding for a digital inclusion program manager in this year's budget. Two other important ways the city is creating opportunities for shared prosperity are through our Durham YouthWorks program and by supporting local businesses. Our Durham YouthWorks program continues to be a way to engage youth, to give them skills that they'll need to enter the job market. I want to make sure that every teenager who wants a summer job experience can have one. I am proposing an additional $400,000 to support this possibly life-changing program. Local businesses and entrepreneurs continue to look to the city for advice as they get started, as they recover from the impact of COVID-19. Funding is being provided for 3 programs: the Momentum 360 Financial Academy Training Program to provide coaching, mentoring, and training that will advise businesses as they recover from the impact of COVID-19 shutdowns. This program will provide multimodal coaching, mentoring, and education training targeted toward entrepreneurial support. The Hispanic Ecosystem and Outreach Program, partially supported by a National League of Cities grant, is aimed at developing a marketing, outreach, and technical assistance program that specifically targets Hispanic entrepreneurs. And to help continue Durham's legacy businesses, I am funding a program to retain, expand, and transition Durham's longstanding small women and minority-owned businesses. The program includes succession planning and targeted technical assistance. We know that being able to travel is important, whether it is to your job, doctor appointments, or to get groceries. I am pleased to share that Go Durham will continue fare-free service through June 30th, 2023. Continued federal support of about $12 million through the American Rescue Plan has provided gap funding throughout the pandemic for transit operations. And this support, along with state funding of $3.6 million, is expected to continue this upcoming fiscal year. Additionally, the city has already received federal awards this year, including awards to improve Durham Station for the Rails to Trails project and the Rails to Trails project, totaling about $20 million. The city is continuing to prepare for and to apply for more grants to improve transit in Durham. As you saw earlier, 3.75 cents of the tax rate combined with grant and other funding, all totaling nearly $41 million, will support core transit services in the coming year. This includes expanding service and improving on-time arrival and route frequencies, which are all part of the short-term transit plan. I am proposing 6 additional FTEs primarily to work on and manage capital infrastructure projects and programs. In addition to adopting the proposed budget, City Council will also soon adopt our capital improvement plan, which guides our long-term capital projects such as infrastructure and facilities. While the proposed CIP update will be presented during the upcoming budget work sessions, some of the new proposed capital projects are noted on the next 3 slides. The capital improvement budget includes over $145 million for new projects and to complete existing ones. This funding includes $28.7 million for important general government capital needs. These projects were prioritized using an equity lens or screening questions to determine who would benefit from the improvement, who may be burdened from the improvement, and the assessment also looks at unintended outcomes of the proposed projects. Here's a short summary of our enterprise capital projects, including our water and sewer, our stormwater, and our solid waste projects. I am also proposing that we continue our capital commitments for our fleet replacement program and for street maintenance and repaving. In addition to these projects, the city is continuing our commitment to green and equitable infrastructure. A half-cent tax generating approximately $2 million a year is included in this budget for projects important to neighborhoods that have historically received fewer resources or investment to make them better. This money will be added to funding already set aside from last year's budget to allow the city to borrow more money for these important projects after we get ideas and input from those communities. We will present more information about our green and equitable infrastructure plan to the City Council during our budget briefing on May 25th. Now that I presented highlights from the proposed budget, it's time for our elected leadership and our community members to take a closer look. City Council and staff will review the details at next week's budget work sessions on May 25th and May 26th, beginning at 9 a.m. each day, right here in council chambers. In addition to being open to the public to attend in person, they will also be live streamed to Durham Television Network and to our YouTube channel to enable as many people as possible to watch our departmental budget presentations. Our residents are encouraged to share their thoughts at our budget public hearing, which will take place during the June 6th City Council meeting beginning at 7 p.m. We remain committed to transparency in the budget, as well as in our total operations. Therefore, the complete proposed budget is now available for your review on the city's website at durhamnc.gov/budget. We continue to be a destination of choice for new residents. While we acknowledge our challenges as a community, Durham is still a dynamic city. In fact, tomorrow, U.S. News and World Report will release its best places to live for 2022-2023. And I was told that the Durham-Raleigh metro area has earned a top placement among the country's 150 largest metro areas based on how well we meet residents' expectations for where to live based on affordability, the quality of life, and desirability. I am not surprised that so many consider Durham a best place to live. There are many reasons that we all love living here. We know we are nowhere near perfect, but by working together, government, large and small businesses, nonprofit organizations, educational institutions, and faith-based organizations, legacy residents, and those brand new to our community, we can continue to make this city the best that it can be. You can learn more about my proposed budget and city operations by following the city on our social media channels. We work hard to communicate what we're doing on these pages and want to keep you informed on our work and our progress on these channels. I'd like to thank city departments for their contributions to the fiscal year 22-23 proposed budget. It could not have been done without you and your heart for public service. Thanks to the Budget and Management Services Department under the leadership of Director John Allure for not missing a step despite operating with fewer staff than normal. Finally, thank you, Mayor, who's in her absence, and Mayor Pro Tem and City Council for your leadership on behalf of the residents of our great city. Thank you.
Hear, hear. Madam Manager, on behalf of the residents of our great city, let me thank you and your entire team for this wonderful piece of work, this work product that we now look forward to sinking our teeth in to at our next work sessions. And I want to make sure that I stress that all of you watching at home in the chamber that you come on out and make your voices heard either here in the chamber or virtually on June 6th at the public hearing. We know we'll be getting emails from you. We look forward to them, but this is a wonderful document for us to have conversations about who we are and where we're going as a city. So my congratulations to you, Madam Manager, and I know I look forward, I know I speak for my colleagues when I say we look forward to digging in and ultimately adopting a budget that works for all of us here in Durham. Congratulations.